Hey everybody. So I haven't done a video in a while, so I figured I'd turn the camera on and see what spewed forth out of my mouth. Um, yeah, I was thinking because the other day was 9/11. I was gonna try to get a video. I've just been busy doing stuff, trying to get fishing in because this is a real good time to fish up here. Um, but busy with my outdoor work and doing volunteer stuff and whatever. So I haven't really done any videos, but 9/11 the other day. I don't know if you guys have researched it at all, or what your intuition is that 9/11 might have been Jesus' birthday, or when Jesus was born. Now, we know it wasn't December 25th. That's a big satanic pagan ritual holiday, but the scholars have always said that he was probably born in late summer or early fall because of different scriptures, and historically when they used to go to Bethlehem for the census and to pay their taxes and everything. And then also the the feasts and the Hebrew things. But it makes sense to me because these Satanists, these sick psychopaths that have been in charge for a long time, under their master Satan, they like to do things in reverse. So, Nimrod's birthday and pagan festivals, well, they'll tell you that's Jesus' birthday. And then they'll do all their evil crap on his real birthday. Now, there's nothing in the Bible that says we're supposed to celebrate birthdays of any kind, or Jesus' birthday, or it doesn't tell us exactly in the Bible, but I think it's kind of nice to know when the Savior of the world came to this earth. But so that was one thought I had, and these sick psychos, that these Satanists, they would be just like them to take our Savior's day of birth and turn it into a satanic ritual, just like they would take Nimrod's birth and all that pagan stuff and make it fake Christian stuff. And 9/11's a big number for them. They do a lot of stuff with 9/11, so it would make sense to me, and I'm curious to see if you guys have any thoughts on that. You see some stuff on it about it on YouTube, but there's a lot of people I follow that I respect their teachings and stuff, and I haven't really heard them mention it. So I was curious what you guys thought about that. And along those lines, too, I was thinking the other day, I see these testimonies of people who have met Jesus and been to heaven and been to hell. And, there's some people that say a lot of that stuff is satanic deception. There are people that say they go to heaven and see, like, the Virgin Mary is, on a throne. There's a lot of weird stuff that you don't know if they were true. But, if you ever heard about my dream right after I was saved, when the demons were dragging me to the pit of hell, and I couldn't move because I was paralyzed, and I knew I had to cry to Jesus, and I couldn't. And then finally, at the last minute, as I was right at the edge of the pit where I could smell flesh burning and putrefaction and all this stuff, and at the last minute, I was able to cry out, "Jesus, save me!" And instantly, I was back in my bed, safe. And I really don't think that was any kind of satanic deception. I think that was actually going on, and I wasn't in my body, that was in bed, but maybe my heart had stopped and I was dead. I don't know what happened that night, but it wasn't like a regular dream. It was like an experience. So I don't know, maybe that was a satanic deception, but I don't think it was. But anyway, so I hear people that I've never like seen a vision of what Jesus looks like. I've never like heard an audible voice, but he talks to me through my heart, and he tells me stuff. It's not like I hear a voice, but I know it's him telling me things. But so anyway, some of these visions that I've looked at YouTube that people have had, and they talk about Jesus with long hair, and they describe like the picture of Jesus that we have, of being white, you know, and looking like, you know, the typical Jesus that they show us, which I believe is fake. You know, I believe that Jesus was black. The original Hebrews were black, and Jesus was born as a black person. But now I wonder, since Jesus is in the spirit now, can he reveal himself to people who are seeking him, or whose heart he's entered, as that image that he's portrayed as? Because that's the image that people think of him as, Jesus. So if he wants to show himself to people, he will show himself as that white guy with blue eyes, and that really is Jesus, but he can, you know, show himself to be whatever he wants. Because we know after he was resurrected, the apostles didn't recognize him right away. He looked different to them than he did when he was nailed on the cross, when he was walking around and he was a black guy. He looked different than after he was resurrected. So along those lines, I was wondering, you know, what you guys thought about, can he reveal himself to look different ways to different people? Are all those people that see him with the long hair and the blue eyes, are they being deceived by Satan? Or is Jesus, because they seem like that, you know, a lot of them that have those visions and everything are really solid, born-again Christians, and that changes their life in a good, positive Christian, you know, like it seems like they know Jesus then, and people who have had near-death experiences and gone to heaven and stuff, and they see Jesus with the long hair and the blue eyes. Do you think that Jesus just shows himself like that because that's what they're expecting to see Jesus to look like? Or do you think that's some kind of satanic deception, which I don't think it makes sense if they come out of those visions being born again in the spirit? So my thought is maybe, and you know, I haven't come to any conclusions about this, my thought is maybe that after he was resurrected, when he was walking around with the apostles and he was different looking, could he have at that point been white with long hair and blue eyes? I don't know. It just was a thought that occurred to me the other day when I was thinking about 9/11 and his birthday and the resurrection and all that. Could he have been born black and resurrected white? Just an interesting thought. I don't really know. I haven't seen anybody else really talk about it as a possibility. But I'd be curious to see what you guys think, especially you, Brother Joshua. Because, you know, it was a lot of your stuff about the Hebrews being black that got me convinced. So, what do you think about that? You think he could have been resurrected as a white guy? So, yeah, those are some thoughts I had recently. Just kind of some rambles. Chickens are doing good. Dora's doing good. I got a brusher. She's blowing her coat out right now. All these white ones, which you saw young in the spring, they're all going to start laying eggs here pretty soon, I think. I think I might have already found a couple. And I'm going to get rid of some of the older birds, like that one there who's molting. She's ancient. She might be like, I wouldn't be surprised if she was 8 years old. I bet she still gives me an egg once in a while, though. But I'm going to get rid of all these orange and white ones. They call them comets or red sex lynx crosses, like that one there. Some of them I got last year. They're still good young laying hens. But I'm going to get rid of all the orange ones just because I want to know who's who and I want to start fresh with a good flock. I'll probably keep like these 2 gray Morans, even though they're really old, but they're, you know, they're nice chickens to have around. I might get rid of them. I don't know. The ones I'm going to keep, besides these white ones, I got, like that one there. She's the one that hatched those 2. She's an Americana cross. And they give a blue egg. I like having them around. They're small and they tend to hatch their own babies. And people like the blue and the green eggs. And then I got the 10 barred rocks that I got as chicks. These black and white ones. Got one in my truck. But, yeah, so the chickens are good. I'm getting a lot of free food. as you can see. And been catching some fish. Went out yesterday. Took my friends. They gave me this truck last year. I had been driving an old Jeep and towing my landscape trailer around with my Jeep. See, that's the thing. I get free food, but then I got to deal with all the garbage and stuff, which is a pain in the neck. But makes the eggs nice, and it's free, except it takes time to deal with all the garbage. But yeah, so my friends gave me this truck last year. I'd been driving a Jeep and a tow hitch, Jeep Cherokee. The tow hitch rusted out on it, so I couldn't tow my boat or my landscape trailer for a while. I didn't know what I was going to do, and my friend had been letting me use his truck to get my work done, but I hadn't fished in a while, and so I wanted to. These guys used to be good food customers. They used to buy my stuff at the farmers markets, and they got a little place on the Connecticut River, and I was cutting their lawn for them. I asked them, can I come to your place and fish off the dock one night? I felt I needed to fish because I hadn't fished in a while, so I figured I'd catch some catfish off their dock one night. And they were nice enough. Yeah, sure, come on down, we'll fish with you. So we caught some catfish. And then, we're really sorry that your Jeep, sorry you can't tow your boat. What can we do for you? I wish there was something we could do for you. I said, oh, well, why don't you buy me a new truck? Sarcastically, just chuckling. We all had a little chuckle about that. And then a little time went by, and I finally decided, well, I'll have my Jeep fixed, and my mechanics and the guys that do welding and stuff for me, they said they'd give me credit, but it's going to cost $500, $600, $700, but I could pay them when I could because I had no money. So I was supposed to take the Jeep in on a Monday, and that Sunday night I got a text from Ann and David saying, "Oh, we've got an old truck we want to give you." So they gave me this Chevy S10. They said they weren't using it. It was parked. It had been parked for like a year and a half. They weren't sure what they were going to do with it. It had some wiring problems and stuff. Had some broken springs. They said, oh, it's really rusty. Well, their idea of rust down in Massachusetts compared to my idea of rust up here in Vermont are two different things. And this thing runs great. It's got quite a few miles on it, but, I had to put springs on it, and it cost me $500 for springs, but then I put the old Jeep out on the road for $500 for sale. It was sold the same day, so I broke even on that. And I haven't had to do too much to it. Slave cylinder, starter, just stuff that's going to break anyway. But, yeah, so they gave me that truck. So I told them I'd take them fishing, at least once a year for life. Plus, I mowed their lawn for free for them. I cut up a big tree, fell down for them. I did a bunch of stuff for them in return for the truck, but they were having sent right in the nick of time by giving me this truck when I needed it. And I don't remember if I prayed for a new truck. I don't usually pray for stuff like that. I usually pray for God's will to be done, and if it's your will, I know you're going to take care of me, that kind of thing. But I don't say, God, could you please get me a new truck? Just like I never pray, God help me catch fish. I pray for, a safe trip in the boat. That kind of thing. But yeah, so I don't know if the truck was an answer to my prayers or just God decided to help me out. But it's been a great truck now for, about a year and a half I've had it now. So I took them fishing yesterday, and they don't have much fishing experience. I put them onto a lot of fish. They lost most of them, but we put a couple nice ones in the boat for them. But the fishing's real good right now. September into October, the smallmouths on the river there, they just light right up, and they're very aggressively feeding right now. And of course, everybody knows that. You get all the bass fishermen throwing their lures all over the place all day long. There was boats all over the river yesterday, but I fish with live bait usually, worms and little shiners and chubs and stuff that I trap. Sometimes crawdads. Those fish are pretty smart out there because those bass fishermen, they throw the lures at them all day long. They have tournaments up there, and those fish get caught and released a lot of times. If you want to get the big ones, you got to use the live bait. And plus, I don't like to work anymore when I fish. I don't like to do a lot of casting. I either put the swimming plugs out and troll with them, just put the poles in the pole holder and wait for the hits, pick up the pole, reel the fish in, or else, you know, I'll fish with live bait, still fish or drift. But, little update. Yeah, talk about the weather a little bit. I don't know what to make of this whole hurricane thing. We know they're steering them and manufacturing them. You know, they're playing on the fear porn with the news and everything. Just get everybody watching it all the time, freaking out, getting... You know, you would think people would understand by now. If you live in Florida, you're going to get hurricanes, and you have stuff put up in your house already, so you don't have to rush to the store at the last minute. But every time it happens, just like up here in Vermont, you'd think people would know. Yeah, we have a long winter, and you know, you better have food and wood and supplies laid up in case you get a blizzard. But, you know, no, they call for a little storm now, and everybody has to go rush into the store. You'd think it was the end of the world. Well, you know, a lot of people, the old-timers that are around here, they're all self-sufficient and prepared for everything anyway. But you get a lot of these people, we call them, that are transplants. And, you know, I wasn't born here in Vermont, but I've always been like a self-sufficient country guy, and I've lived here for 25 years. Before that, I was upstate New York for a while. But I've always been pretty self-sufficient and resourceful and prepared for stuff. But, you know, and the old-timers around here are like that. But then you got all these people that moved up from the city and everything, and they're just like Americans everywhere. They depend on the government. They just depend on going to the supermarket every day and having all their basic needs, you know, handled in that way, instead of having any skills at all for anything, whether it's hunting or fishing or growing a garden or just survival skills of any type, you know, how to make a fire and just any basic skills that you need. People don't have anymore, especially if they're in the city. Forget it. But yeah, I don't know what to make of these hurricanes. I think that they really overemphasize that Irma. I haven't kept up much to what's going on in Florida. I guess a lot of people don't have any power, and I guess for a lot of people that's the end of the world. But so what? There's no power, big deal. Don't you have some kind of way to cook stuff, or I don't know. Just they want everybody depending on the government, and then the government purposely doesn't help them out, so that they're all stranded. And I'm curious to see what happens with this Jose. See if that's just a big hype. But the timing could be right for September 23rd, which a lot of people are saying is going to be some kind of day, some kind of ritual, some kind of sign from Revelation 12. We'll see. But all right, I haven't talked to you guys in a while. Just figured I'd throw out some brain spewage. See if I get anybody to comment. Let me know about what you think about the Jesus stuff. His birthday. Could he have been resurrected white? Other than that, I love all you guys very much. Hope you're all doing well. All my YouTube family who tunes in all the time. You know who you are. Rita and Josh and Joe and Champ and all you guys. Penn. Charles. And then, you know, Barry White. I'm not sure how many of you guys tune into my videos and never comment, but I think a lot of you guys always comment, so I look forward to that. That's half the reason I do these, is to talk to you guys. So I hope you're all doing well. And if you're in the storm areas, I hope you survived. And I have a feeling anyone who watches this channel is probably pretty good at taking care of themselves. But, alright, I'll see you in the comments section. You guys take care, and God bless. I love you all. Bye now.